Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Maxime Bernier, founder and leader of the People's Party of Canada, online at peoplespartyofcanada.ca. You can follow Maxime on Twitter at Maxime Bernier. Max, welcome back to the Goddard Report.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity.
Max, you've been on the road across the nation speaking at freedom rallies with Laura Lynn, Tyler Thompson, Mark Friesen, and others. How were the freedom rallies and what's the message?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm traveling across the country. You're right. I was in Vancouver, Edmonton, Regina, Saskatoon, Montreal, Toronto. And we are meeting people like us, who believe in more freedom and less government. I can tell you that being the only political party at the federal level that is fighting against these draconian lockdowns, we have a lot of support. But when I started that maybe 10 months ago, the support was not the same. So we have more and more people that are coming and agree with us. So I'm very pleased with that. And I'm looking forward to do more rallies during the summertime.
What are you Mad Max about today?
Yeah, no, I'm mad that in Ontario, in Alberta, and in some other provinces, we still have the lockdowns. After more than a year, we know that lockdowns don't work. We need to reopen the economy. We need to do like in other jurisdictions, like in Florida, in Texas, in South Dakota, and more than 15 states in the U.S. that reopen their economy. And we need to do that because now I believe that these lockdowns are not helping us, are not helping the population, the small business owner. For me, every business is essential, and now it's unfair because you can go to Costco, but in certain province, you cannot go to your local store. So we need to stop that. It's the first time in the history of the world that we are using lockdowns to fight a virus, and it's an experiment that is not working.
We hear rumblings are going to have some rock star type candidates running for the People's Party in the next election. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, that will come. Actually, what I can tell you is up to now, we appointed more than 100 candidates all across the country, and our goal is to have a full slate of candidates before the 1st of July. So we will give the opportunity to every Canadian to be able to vote for the PPC, to be able to vote for what they believe in, to be able to vote for a real Conservative Party in Ottawa. Because as you know, the Conservative Party of Canada is not conservative anymore. They're going to the left at full speed. They will impose a carbon tax. They will put more regulations on businesses, and they believe in the Paris Accord. So they're like the liberals. So we need to fight that, and I can tell you that we have more and more support. So that would be important for us because at the last general election, we had 315 candidates. So we were almost there with a full slate of candidates, but this time we will. And our goal is to improve our percentage of the vote. And step by step, this party is growing, and I'm very pleased with that.
Your thoughts on this quote? Quarantine is when you restrict the movement of sick people. Tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people.
Yeah, I like that quote. Actually, we have authoritarian government all across this country that are imposing draconian measures to their citizens. And like I said, the way to fight the virus is not with more lockdowns. If lockdowns work, why are we still, like in Ontario, in the third lockdown? So lockdowns don't work, and we need to protect the older people, the most vulnerable people, and that's what the provincial government here in Quebec and in Ontario didn't do. 80% of the death coming from COVID-19 last year was people living in a long-term care seniors home, and under the jurisdiction and the responsibility of these provincial governments. So they are responsible for that. So the solution is not to do more lockdowns, but to reopen the economy and protect older people, and these people can stay at home. And that would be the best thing to do for these people, because we know after a year that if you are under 70 years old, your chances of dying from COVID-19 is less than 0.05%. Your survival rate is about 99.95%. So the virus is deadly for older people with comorbidity, and that's what provincial government didn't do during that crisis. They locked down everybody instead of asking these people to stay at home and protect the most vulnerable. They didn't do that, so they have a responsibility there.
They found out when they did a study, a lot of people in Ontario long-term homes died because they weren't fed or given water. Now, if that was an animal shelter, there would have been criminal charges. Should there be criminal charges in Ontario for that?
Well, I can tell you that the provincial government in Ontario received a report that was very damaging for the government. Same thing in Quebec, and at least what I believe, I think people have a good action. They can sue the provincial government because of that. I won't go on to the criminal under the criminal code, but they have a civil responsibility. So maybe the provincial government in Quebec or in Ontario, they can have a lawsuit from these people. I think they have a good case.
The Trudeau government is pushing for mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots, along with other voting methods, have caused the light to be shone on voter fraud. Is the People's Party looking at ways to expose potential voter fraud at all levels of government in Canada?
Yeah, first of all, we are against that bill that we have an electoral legislation here in Ottawa, in Canada, that is respecting the Constitution and respecting our rights. So we don't need to change that. Actually, if we have an election this fall, and if at that time we didn't have any lockdowns, so we don't need to change the way that people are doing and going to the poll for during an election time. So I won't favor that. I think it's always better to go in person, to vote in person with a clear identity that you must be able to show who you are and where you live. I think that's the basic of a democracy. So that's why we are against that bill.
Is Bill C-10 the one that threatens to censor the Internet straight out of the Communist Handbook?
I think so. You have a good point there. Actually, when you do this kind of censorship on social media, it's against our values as a democracy. So, yes, the Bill C-10, the federal government will be able, and the CRTC, that organization, the bureaucrats at the CRTC will be able to regulate what you're doing on social media if, like, for example, on YouTube, if you're a YouTuber and you have a lot of viewers and you're very successful, the CRTC will be able to regulate you, to tax you, and the money will go in a fund to give that to Canadian creators and to promote Canadian content. You know, I believe, and we believe at the PPC, that we must abolish the CRTC. We don't need that. You know, if you're a good senior or a good artist, you don't need to have subsidies from the federal government. And if you're good, you'll be able to have a market. If you're not good and you're not able to make a living with your talent, maybe it's because you don't have any talent. So that's the free market reality.
We'll have more with Maxime Bernier right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Maxime Bernier. Max, does China own Canada?
No, but I don't want to, and it's very important for us that we must protect our natural resources, and so that's why we are against any takeover by a communist Chinese corporation to take over our natural resources. And that's an important policy for the PPC. And but I know that Justin Trudeau said a couple of years ago that he liked the Chinese dictatorship, and I believe with the bills that he is tabling in the House, that like the bill C-10 with more censorship, he is actually he is a little bit like a communist government, imposing more restriction on Canadians with these lockdowns and also that censorship. We need to fight that, and that would be an important battle for us at the next general election.
Is the International Criminal Court the proper place to try cases of crimes against humanity?
Yeah, there's a precedent after the World War II. There's a couple of precedents there, and if something happened, we must be able to have a place that we can judge people, and our country, we are fighting for democracy, for the rule of law, respecting every Canadian, and I can tell you that the crime against humanity must be judged at an international level. So now we have a court over there that can be improved, the process can be improved, but at least we have something there.
Are you moving at full speed ahead to form a majority PPC government to save Canada from the not-so-great reset?
Yeah, actually, you're right about the reset. We don't want any reset. For me, the reset, it's a government that is more socialist and intervening in our day-to-day life. We must stop that. I'm very realistic, and, we had 1.6% of the vote at the last general election. It took 20 years and 6 elections for the Green Party of Canada to have more than 1.6% of the vote. We did that the first year of the creation of the People's Party of Canada, and I think that went very well for us. Now our goal is to grow our support step by step, and we'll see. I don't believe that I'll be a prime minister after the next general election. But, we can have a couple of candidates elected, and we can grow our percentage of the vote. That's the most important. But this party is there for the long term. We don't try to please everybody. We don't tender to any special interest group. We are doing politics differently based on principles and ideas, and we believe that we need to communicate with Canadians and explaining our platform. We have a very strong platform, based on 4 principles: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness. And I believe that because we will, at the next general election, we will be out there, we'll do some advertising, and I believe that more and more people will be in touch with our candidates, and that will help us to grow. So we'll see. We need to win the battle of ideas, and I think that's too important. So that's why we won't do any compromise with our ideas, and that's why I'm crossing the country, traveling across the country to speak about freedom, personal responsibility, and I'll do that. And I hope we'll have a lot of support at the next general election. So we'll see what will happen.
Is there a massive immigration flow into Canada that we're not being told about?
But as you know, the Trudeau government has a goal to have 350,000 new immigrants every year. And for me, it's a mass immigration. We don't believe in that. We must have fewer immigrants, 150,000 a year. We must have that debate in Canada right now. And that was our position at the last general election, and that would be the same position at the next general election. I believe that we must have more economic immigrants, a person that is coming here because, for example, an entrepreneur was not able to find a Canadian for that job, so he had the right to go and search for a person that will help him to grow his business or her business. And we call these person the economic immigrants. They're coming here with a job. It's easier for them to integrate our society. They are participating in our society right now at the beginning when they arrived here. So we want more economic immigrants, and I think that would be important. And we want to help the real refugees that are waiting in a camp somewhere where their life is in danger. And I believe that people who are crossing the border at the Roxham Road in Quebec are not real refugees. When you come with your Gucci and from the state of New York, your life is not in danger. We must be sure that people will respect our borders and will help the real refugees. So that's part of our campaign. And I strongly believe that if we have more and more and always more immigrants and not having people who share our Canadian values, it will be very difficult for the country. I don't want our country to be like in France when you have ghettos over there and you have immigrants that don't integrate the French society. We don't want that. We don't have that right now in this country. That's why we need to have that discussion on immigration. And we are the only political party at the federal level that is arguing for fewer immigrants.
How can we afford to have massive immigration? 350,000 people, that's like a Regina and half a Saskatoon moving in every year when we don't have enough housing for the Canadians who are already here.
You're absolutely right. That put a lot of pressure on the housing prices in big cities like Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, and we have a crisis right now. So that's why it's another reason why we cannot afford mass immigration.
Are the United Nations and the World Health Organization trying to take control of Canada away from the people?
No, I think it's the Trudeau government. These organizations I'll lead with socialist people that believe in a new order and in a reset. But in the end, that's the Trudeau government that is imposing these policies coming from the UN or the World Health Organization. So they're not imposing their view on Canada. It's because the Trudeau government, the Liberals, are socialists, and they're putting in practice and in our legislation ideas coming from these organizations. For us, we always said that the UN is a dysfunctional organization. We will look at the budget that the federal government is giving to the UN, and I think we can save a lot of money there. But our country is a sovereign country, and we will implement policies in Canada that are in line with our values, with free market values and freedom. But the Trudeau government is doing the opposite. So in the end, it is not the UN that imposed their vision on Canada. It's Trudeau that decided himself and his government to take these bad ideas and put them in legislation. So we won't do that.
Do you think Canada has a great future ahead, or should people of Canada be ready to flee as socialism, communism take hold?
Well, I believe that we are in a socialist era, and maybe for the next 5 to 10 years, that can go worse before being better. So that's why it's so important to do the battle right now, the battle of ideas against socialism, against globalists, against authoritarian government like we have right now because of COVID-19, and we are doing that battle. So I believe that our future will be better, but we need to act, and that's why I'm saying each time I'm doing a rally, I'm saying to the people, we need to do that fight together. You need to speak to your friends, to your colleagues, to your family, about your position and what is happening about the PPC and our principles. And the more support we'll have, the more influence we will have on the Canadian politics, and the better it will be for our country.
Hearing people want you to do Joe Rogan show and the Tucker Carlson show, would you be open to it?
Oh, absolutely. I did Dave Rubin, and it would be great if I have the opportunity to do these shows. They're very popular. And we'll see what will happen. But if I have an invitation, for sure I'll be there.
Taxation policies, are Canadians overtaxed, and what would you do about it?
Yes, they are, and we are. And so what we must do, we must lower their taxes. But before that, we must be able to balance the budget. And that's why I'm saying, and since a long time, that the conservative are not conservative anymore, because O'Toole has the same policy on taxation and the deficit than Trudeau. He said he will balance the budget in 10 years. But you know that, he will have to have a mandate to be Prime Minister for 4 years. So 10 years, it's like saying to Canadians, I won't balance the budget. So our commitment is to balance the budget in one mandate, in 4 years. And after that, lower taxes to every Canadian. But to balance the budget, we will have to stop these lockdowns and save the economy. Right now, the Trudeau government is financing economic loss coming from the lockdown, and we need to stop that. That's an incentive to provinces to keep the lockdowns, because they know that the federal government will compensate them. Under a PPC government, we won't do that, and that will be the right incentive to be sure that they will stop these lockdowns. And so, yes, we'll save money, we'll cut foreign aid, and we'll have a federal government that won't interfere in provincial jurisdiction. We will respect the autonomy of provinces, we'll respect the Constitution. So that will be a smaller government, and we'll save a lot of money. And because of that, we'll be able to lower taxes to every single Canadian.
Where can people follow you and the People's Party of Canada?
Yeah, they can follow us actually on my Twitter account, Maxime Bernier, or the Twitter account of the PPC, People's Party of Canada. They can go on our website. They'll see our platform, peoplespartyofcanada.ca. I'm also on Instagram, Maxime Bernier. They can follow me there. And if they want to see me, you can write to us at info@peoplespartyofcanada.ca. And we will be in touch with you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to go see our website or write to us, and that would be really appreciated. I can tell you that just follow me, because I'm traveling across the country during this summer. and I hope I'll be able to see a lot of Canadians.
Max, thank you so much for being on the Goddard Report.
Thank you very much. That was a nice opportunity for me.
My guest has been Maxime Bernier, founder and leader of the People's Party of Canada. If you have any questions for any of our guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @TalkDigitalNet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.